Roman Reigns CM Punk set to team up at WWE Survivor Series. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Roman Reigns and CM Punk will reportedly still be involved in the Survivor Series War Games match next month, despite WWE being forced to change plans. Seth Rollins has vacated the World Heavyweight Championship after undergoing major shoulder surgery, which affected the idea of a possible Team Reigns or Punk vs. Team Rollins War Games match. Rollins was written off TV through a storyline betrayal, with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed turning on their leader. This means he is no longer set to compete at Survivor Series War Games in San Diego, California, on November 29th. Reigns and Punk will still be in action, though, and they are expected to team together on one side of a War Games match against The Vision, per the Wrestling Observer newsletter. That means Breaker and Reed will also likely be involved, while both teams will probably recruit names around the world title scene on Raw. The likes of Jey Uso and LA Knight, who have been associated with Reigns and Punk recently, make sense to be on the babyface team. That could also include Jimmy Uso, although he may be set for a rivalry with Jey after last week's Raw. Jey will face Punk for the vacated world title at Saturday night's main event on November 1st, before Survivor Series, which could lead to a major storyline twist. On the opposing team, there are reports that some within WWE are still considering Austin Theory to join The Vision, despite Rollins' injury. Rollins was a key figure in a possible Theory return and reunion, as he mentored him during the COVID-19 pandemic. Another possible participant is Brock Lesnar, given that he realigned with Paul Heyman at WrestlePalooza and hasn't been seen since his win over John Cena. If Reigns and Punk do team together at Survivor Series, they'll have to set aside their differences to overcome The Vision. One of their main points of conflict has been Paul Heyman, who turned on both of them to align with Rollins at WrestleMania earlier this year. Reports claimed that WWE was planning a Reigns vs. Rollins match at WrestleMania 42, and since Rollins was the World Heavyweight Champion before his injury, that match was likely intended to be for the title. However, there's no certainty that Rollins will return in time for the show of shows in April, or have enough time to build a proper feud. That's why a shift toward a Punk vs. Reigns WrestleMania match for the title makes sense, as it's a fresh and highly anticipated rivalry. We saw early tension between the two at last year's Survivor Series, and WWE has been building toward a future clash. Roman Reigns remains a major figure in modern professional wrestling and has been the face of WWE for the past decade. The tribal chief has overcome both challenging matches and serious health battles. He was diagnosed with leukemia early in his career and has been open about how it continues to impact his life and work. Now that his WWE contract is nearing its end and he's considering opportunities in Hollywood, fans are wondering if Reigns could step away from WWE as soon as 2026. Reigns first learned he had leukemia in 2007, as reported, just as he was transitioning from college football to professional wrestling. After a period in remission, the illness returned in 2018, and he has shared that he's now living with chronic leukemia, which isn't curable but can be managed with ongoing treatment that he continues to receive. Despite this, Reigns insists that his health doesn't limit his performance as long as he manages it properly. However, maintaining a demanding wrestling schedule while dealing with a lifelong condition naturally raises questions about his long-term future. His recent comments suggest he's aware of his limits. In interviews, Reigns has hinted that after his current WWE contract, which likely concludes after WrestleMania 42 in 2026, he might have another year or two at most of full-time wrestling before moving to less physical roles in entertainment. Reports indicate that he views acting and expanding his brand as the next big step in his career. However, Reigns has also clarified that he doesn't intend to leave WWE completely. Instead, he wants to balance acting with wrestling. This suggests that any retirement would be more of a transition than a full exit. It appears that 2026 could be a pivotal year for Reigns. With the conclusion of his contract, his focus on health, and his growing interest in Hollywood, a shift in his career path seems likely. Still, a complete retirement from wrestling appears doubtful given his desire to remain active in some capacity. He has even expressed interest in taking on a managerial or mentorship role for younger talent. Ultimately, Reigns may move into a phase where he steps back from a full-time schedule, opting for select appearances that allow him to focus on acting, endorsements, and other legacy projects, ensuring his influence in WWE continues well beyond the ring. His battle with leukemia is always there in the background, but it doesn't seem to be a reason for an immediate exit. So while 2026 might mark the end of an era for him as a wrestling powerhouse, it looks like it could just be the beginning of a new chapter for Roman Reigns. WWE Survivor Series. War Games is the last of the big four events of the calendar year and is only a month away. The traditional 5-on-5 elimination Survivor Series match has been replaced with War Games, which follows a similar format but is much more intense. The match card for the 2025 edition is yet to be finalized, leading to speculation about the participants in the War Games match. In this listicle, we'll go over 4 possible War Games matches this year. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are the remaining members of the Vision following Seth Rollins' departure. They have been constant challenges for fan favorites such as CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight. As a result, the two sides could settle their rivalry inside the cage at Survivor Series. The Vision will need allies to compete against the 5 babyfaces, and they could join forces with the Judgment Day or the New Day to take on their opponents. All signs point to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky taking on Asuka and Kairi Sane in a War Games match this year. It's unclear who might join them, but Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez seem like likely allies for the villains. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, on the other hand, could be joined by Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella, who appeared to form an alliance of their own this past week on Raw. The recent developments on WWE SmackDown have nearly confirmed that the Wyatt Six versus the MFTs will likely be one of the War Games matches this year. The rivalry has been building up and seems ideal for a War Games showdown. The two teams already have the numbers and are among the most dominant factions on SmackDown. Their battle for supremacy will surely be one to watch, especially after the recent return of the MFTs with a whole new look and energy about them. While a triple threat War Games match hasn't yet taken place on the main roster, it has been featured before at NXT TakeOver, War Games 2017. The Undisputed Era battled the authors of Pain and Sanity inside the cage, with each team having 3 members except AOP. Something similar could happen this year, with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker taking AOP's spot. The USOs and Roman Reigns could represent the Bloodline, while the third team could consist of CM Punk, Louisiana Knight, and a returning Rey Mysterio. The WWE Hall of Famer is front and center on the Survivor Series War Games poster, but hasn't returned to programming from his injury yet. With the premium live event set to be held in San Diego, a surprise return for Mysterio would be fitting. The legend is expected to be back by the end of the year, and Survivor Series in San Diego would be the perfect setting for his comeback. Recent developments between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso have sparked significant speculation among wrestling fans. The tension escalated after a disagreement at the Crown Jewel event, which left both wrestlers at a crossroads. During the event, the USOs came to assist the OTC as Braun Breaker interfered in the crucial match between Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. In an unfortunate turn of events, Braun Breaker accidentally collided with Reigns, leading to his defeat. In the aftermath, Jey Uso has hinted at a possible character shift. He confronted LA Knight and told Jimmy Uso that he intends to focus on his own path. Big Jim noted that Jey's actions reflected a younger version of Roman Reigns, a statement Jey did not deny. This has led fans to wonder if a future confrontation between Reigns and Jey Uso could be on the horizon. Paul Heyman might also turn on the Vision and reunite with his former client, according to a WWE Hall of Famer. A few weeks ago on Raw, a surprising moment occurred when Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed attacked Seth Rollins, taking control of the faction. The show ended with Heyman raising the hands of both rising stars as he appeared to align with them. However, Kevin Nash believes that the Oracle might not be entirely loyal to the Vision and could eventually side with his former client, Brock Lesnar.